YouTube, what is going on, man? It is another episode, another day, another dollar. You know what I'm saying? And if you are reading the title of this video, guess what we're doing? We're doing another air suspension install, this time on a Lexus IS350 for one of my clients that literally comes back for everything. That's one of my loyal clients, so obviously the more loyal you are, the better my prices are going to be with you. You know what I'm saying? So we lock in. Now, obviously, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Lowe's. We gotta stop at Lowe's real quick, pick up the tile or the floorboard, the material that we're gonna be using to make the floorboard. It's gonna be kind of like a light tinted wood. So I'll show you guys what I like to use and how I use it. So that's pretty much what we're gonna be doing. And then outside of that, we're gonna come back to the shop, trace out the floorboard that we're gonna be cut and install. But we are also gonna get some food because I'm starving. I haven't even had breakfast. It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm hungry. All right, so let's get to it. So the next 2 days are gonna consist of bagging and installing all these parts that we have for Ricardo's Lexus. Stay tuned. Let's get it. God damn, these cars are all the way at the end. Have to walk a whole mile to get one of these. Alright, so as you guys can see, I have a whole bunch of boxes here. And this is essentially everything that's going on this vehicle, on this Lexus. This is the struts for the front, back struts, management wiring, lines, compressors, new stands for the compressors, the actual mounting stands for the compressors, the one for the management. Bro, this is just a whole bunch of stuff for this vehicle here today. I got the trunk carpet, which I'm going to be tracing out and making a new piece that's going to go on and support everything. But for now, we're going to be using this as our main template. And I will show you guys the end result once I make the floorboard that's going to go on this. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is lay out pretty much what we're going to be using as our floorboard. Put the carpet on top. I'm going to be tracing this whole thing out. Then I'm going to be labeling them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that way I know what piece of the puzzle goes together to make my final floor. And then I'm going to be cutting everything around. And then I will be switching to this one. And this one's going to tell me the additional cut that's going to allow for him to be able to open and close the little cover so he can get to his spare and everything in the car. So let me trace this out and I will get to cutting. Alright, we basically have it all traced out. So now it's basically, I'm going to put them up here. And I'll be cutting throughout the entire line. And like I told you, I have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That way I know which piece goes where and how it connects to each other. So let's do it and let's get it. I already have most of the floorboard made, but this is the panel I'm going to be using. And it has like a little lever to pull it up and expose like the spare compartment and all that stuff. So I want to transfer that onto here. So when I put this on here, the lever still shows through and he can still lift it up. So I'm going to use the old method with tape. I'm going to cut around this tape. Then I'm going to take this, put it here at the measurement that I have, which is 2 3/8. And I should be able to cut out a hole that is perfectly going to fit this. So wish me luck. All right, so now basically we have everything, all of our pieces cut out. Now it's put on this piece. The lower end is gonna go on this piece, and then we're gonna make another piece like this for the upper end, which is pretty much what's gonna support everything, compressors, management, and everything. So let me get this piece done, fit it in the car, see how everything fits, and then we can move on to the back piece, which is gonna support everything. All right, as expected, first piece, it's on and fits beautifully, bro. It's literally flush with everything else. It's nice and sturdy. So now we're gonna get the back piece done, which is pretty much what's gonna support tank management, compressors, and everything. And the reason why I wanted to do it like this separate was just so he's able to pretty much pull here, open it up, and get to his spare, because this is his daily driver. And we are trying to make this back end look, you know, nice, but at the same time functional. All right, so I put my back piece on, and I realized that the tank that he brought is just too wide, and it's not gonna sit flush here because of the sides. So what I'm gonna end up doing is gonna be pretty much a floating tank setup. So instead of mounting it on the bottom, it's gonna be floating. It's gonna be above, and then compressors and management are gonna be in the bottom. So I'm gonna, thankfully this one, the brackets to mount it come separate, so I could just take some measurements, find the spots up top, drill, mount the brackets, and then mount the tank. So makes it a little bit easier, but it's still a little bit of work. So let me get that done, and I will be right back when this is done. And just like that, we got the brackets on. Ended up using some rivets, very tight steel rivets. Everything's nice and sleek. They're perfectly center in the trunk. So now we're gonna put these, it's like brackets that hold the tank. So we're gonna put them on just to kind of muck up the tank, see how everything looks. And then I can move on to pretty much designing where I'm gonna put compressors, where I'm gonna put management, and what I'm gonna be plugging out of this, etc, etc. So stay tuned and let's keep going. Whenever you want to take your car to the mechanic and not tip, just understand this is the type of shit that we gotta deal with. Tight spaces that I know this dude would never go into. Tú no te metes aquí, ¿verdad que no? Fuck no. Hell no. So that just goes to show, mechanics that do this are 1 in every 10, because he won't do it, but I will. But got the brackets on, putting the other one on right now, and we put in tank on. And then we get to see how everything looks and how everything fits and how everything else below it is gonna get ramped. So let's keep going. And y'all see what I mean? Beautiful, seamless, perfectly center. We do this, man, we do this. So now I do have minor concerns because it don't look like the compressor is gonna fit under it. Pero we get paid to figure this shit out, so we gonna figure this shit out. All right, trunk layout is officially laid out, marked. So it's just a matter of removing everything, drilling, running hardware, installing everything. And then I'm most likely gonna make a small either slit here in this section right here to run harness, wiring, and everything, and the air lines. I don't know yet. I might go towards the back and run them below. I don't know, it's still TBD, but this is pretty much our trunk setup right here. And of course, since we want everything to look as good as possible, be as convenient as possible to maintain, service, and all that, I opted for rib nuts, so that way he's able to remove screws without having to undo nuts from the bottom. We're gonna be using these M6 screws, which are very nice. Camera won't zoom in and focus, but they're black just like everything else, so they won't be as noticeable, as well as they have like a washer head. It's kind of a big head, so it'll go on and prevent any type of slippage whatsoever. Rib nuts are gonna hold the vinyl board to the plastic board that I made and keep everything as one piece. And then I'm gonna figure something out for the rest of it on the part that I did on the carpet, so it's also one piece and doesn't move around. These are the rib nuts that I'm gonna be using. Obviously they go on, boom, crush them with the tool, and then we're able to put on, remove as we please without using self-tapper screws. Bueno, it is actually 6:23, and that's normally the time that we close up shop. So that's gonna be it for today. But tomorrow we pretty much gotta run wiring, lines, install the struts, and get to everything else that he asked me, which is pretty much mostly focused on the front end. The Mac lifter kit, new fog lights, the strut bar, and the rear end links. And we should be done with this. But we'll be back in a jiffy in 3, 2, 1. All right, my friends, it is day 2, and we just got back to the shop, and we are gonna put this thing up on the lift. run the main harness, run everything that has to be ran on the inside, then proceed to install struts and run the air lines. That's all for today. So hopefully by the end of the day, we got everything done. The fog lights, the Mac lifter kit, all that stuff. So let's get to it. Well, before we even start with the vehicle, I did remove the front bumper because I want to get the Mac lifter kit brackets on the side of the bumper attached with the glue, so that way it can spend the entire day drying, and by the time I'm done with the air suspension, I go install it on the car. The brackets are dried up on the vehicle, so I'm going to show you guys real quick how we do that. So give me 1 second. So when you order your Mac lifter kit, this is pretty much what you're going to get, which is going to be hardware. So right here, that's to attach the brackets onto the fenders, and then you also have, if I'm not mistaken, how many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this might be just for the brackets. And then you have your bumper tabs in metal. This is what we're going to be gluing onto the bumper. And this is pretty much why I want to wait most of the day for this to get hard and dry up. So as you can see, you pretty much just place this underneath, and it'll have exactly the same shape as the tabs on the bumper. So we're going to want to put glue all over this area, put it on, and then pinch it with some vice grips or something, and pretty much just leave it there for the remainder of the day. Then these brackets pretty much replace these brackets right here. So you remove these two, and then with these tabs on the bottom and the hardware provided, you put them on, attach them, and then you have adjustment to get it as tight as you possibly can. All right, so as we wait for this glue to dry up on this bumper, we're gonna move on over here. I already have my wiring pretty much coming out from the trunk. I did use some factory holes that were already on the trunk. I had to remove a cover on the bottom to access them, but that cover is going back on, so it's all going to be covered. I ran my remote harness as well as my main signal wire harness that goes all the way up here, up through that hole back there, and all the way out to the cabin. You guys can see it's already pretty much everything's already ran. No wires hanging. I do still have to tuck away the remote harness, but I'll do that at the end when I'm able to fully open this door. Outside of that, we're moving on to suspension. So I already got all the bolts and everything for this strut to be completely removed, as well as this one over here. So the car's going back up so I can remove them, and I can bring these out of the box to get them ready for the install. Now, quick thing, if you're doing this to a Lexus IS, I highly recommend you undo this upper control arm, because if not, it'll be a bitch to take this thing out, and it literally just takes you 2 seconds, well, 2 minutes to take it out. So this one right here, you don't do that, you're gonna have a tough time. So I highly suggest you do it. One out, one to go. All right, that is official for the front suspension. Struts are on. I did replace the end links for him because he brought me some new ones. So I said, why not? Let me just throw them in. Now we just have to run the line. Attach that line to here using a little clamp. And we can move on to the rear. Pretty much same thing on both sides. But yeah, other than that, pretty much ready with this. We're going to put the boards, everything else on, spare, all that stuff. Finish up with the trunk. Then we could go and start up the car, air up the system, make sure everything is pressured up, no leaks whatsoever, which is what we're looking for when we finish this install. And then we can move on. I gotta install a new pair of these, the new fog lights, and the bumper, which has been sitting outside in the sun all day. So I am pretty sure that that glue is as solid as can be. I'm gonna still leave it out here because we're still not touching that for now, but let's get to it. All right, we officially got board on. I did end up making a small cut here for everything to go down smooth, and I believe, I mean, it looks phenomenal. It could not have came out better. I wish I could have made this hole a little bit smaller, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's even, it's precise, it works. All right, let's go now to the inside so we can start this vehicle. Oh, that's beautiful. Love it when everything goes smooth. Compressor should kick on. Got one compressor on, and that's actually pretty nice. The fact that he bought those stands, because I can literally not hear that compressor at all. So we're gonna go to operation. Is it operation? It is not. We're gonna go to setup. Yes, compressor. We're gonna hit dual because we got 2 compressors. Now we got both compressors on. Wow, it's actually very, very quiet. We're gonna let this thing build up all that pressure, and we'll come back once it hits 200 or so psi. I believe it's gonna stop at like 170, 180 psi, but we're gonna come back for that, and we'll start putting air in the system. But in the meantime, I'm gonna get some of the stuff that I gotta do done. So let's move on to the bumper to swap out the fog lights and swap out the balances on the back bumper. So let's do that real quick. These are officially the pieces that he brought, actually carbon. So this is a good upgrade from what he has here, which is probably some eBay, Amazon, universal spats. This is definitely an upgrade. So let's put these on and see how everything looks. These I also installed using basically the factory locations. Added some more screws, and it's solid as can be. All right, we got the bumper back in. Took the whatchamacallit, the little clamps off, and the brackets are solid. The glue is fully dry. So now we're gonna remove these fog lights completely, and we're gonna be replacing them with carbon variants. So let's get that done real quick in 3, 2, 1. And just like that, they're officially on. And let me tell you, that looks beautiful. So now I just removed the brackets from the fenders so I could install the Mac lifter kit replacement brackets. Then we can put the bumper back on. Last thing we're gonna be doing is installing this Megan Racing strut brace. And we're putting wheels back on, lowering it on the ground, calibrating, and she is good to go. Can't wait to see this thing. And that is official. Mac lifter kit is installed, and this is why I recommend this to a lot of people. Bro, look at this gap. I'm not gonna lie, this is an aftermarket bumper, and normally I've done a few installs on these, and they don't always have the best finish, especially right here. And even this one, when it came in, this was sticking out probably like 1/2 inch. And look at it now, a lot better. A lot better. So Mac lifter kit, bro, you cannot go wrong with it. And officially strut bar is installed. Had to do a little bit of trimming around for it to fit, but got it to fit. Obviously I like the way this side came out because it's super tight, and for some reason this plastic cover sits below, but this one didn't, so I had to cut a little bit more for the bolt and stuff to fit. He also was missing pretty much every single clip on all these panels, so I went ahead and I gave him some push clips for everything, so everything is nice and bolted up. That finishes up everything on here. So now we're gonna put the wheels back on, calibrate, then bring it outside for him to, he's on his way now, so just gotta do a little bit of final touches and we're done with this. And she is officially on the ground. Everything is done. We are about to calibrate. But man, look at how this thing sits down. And also, my dude Orlando got this airlift on as well. So, 2 back vehicles. Looking fucking amazing. Leaving the shop today. I'm gonna calibrate the system now. Then we're gonna bring it outside so we can get a full cinematic of it. But really proud of this one. Extremely proud of this one. Calibration was completely done. And I finished the inside, put the seat back inside. Now we're gonna take it back to my little spot, air it out, get some nice videos for you guys. And we are done with this one. ¿Te gustó?
Perfecto, mejor de ahí no puede.
Amén. Ahora a que lo tira al piso para que vean esta gente cómo es el mambo.
Voy a tomar un video cuando llegué, cuando lo viste.
Ay no, por eso fue que te dije, ¿lo viste? Dale, pa'l piso.